What is up, Libation Nation? We're taking that. Somebody said it on Twitter the other day, and so we're definitely going to take that. Can't believe we didn't think of that before. But welcome, everybody, to episode 115 of Liberty Libations. My name is Jake Green, joined as usual by Zane, Placie, Nick Ciesielski, and Alden, Hardee. And tonight, our special guest is Matthew with a last name that I can't pronounce, so I'm going to let him do that right now.
It's Grzynkowicz. Matthew.
There we go. All right, Matthew. Who are you? And why were you interested in coming on the show?
So I'm a recent political science graduate from the University of Louisville. I'm working on my master's degree right now. I've always wanted to do podcasting or like content creation, so I just started, and it's like my third show I've been on. So nice. I'm just trying to get out there and talk to people, maybe build up some name recognition.
Heck yeah! What do you remember the other two shows you went on?
It was the Kaj Masterclass. He's like this guy named AJ. He's an Indian podcaster, and then I went on this show with. Oh, I'm blanking on his name. Right. I don't know, but it was like an audio only podcast.
Oh, nice.
As long as you remember all of our names, who cares what the other ones were?
Yeah, I'll try my hardest.
I always like audio only podcasts. My wife and I have an audio only podcast where we review movies, and it's it's far less stressful. You don't got to worry about anything with a camera, and there's far less work involved.
And you don't have to look at Jake's face. So much better.
So much better. All right. Well, Zane, what are you drinking this week, man?
I did a deep dive into my cocktail recipe book and found something. The name of the drink is called a Slow Kiss, named after slow gin. So there's slow gin in here, vodka, a little bit of Galliano, Southern Comfort, and Amaretto.
Okay,
that's a lot. Okay,
that gum. All right, Nick, what do you got going?
Yeah, I got two on deck here. I have from the same brewery as last week a Broken Sprocket New England IPA, because that was one of the things in the variety pack I've got.
Nice.
And then some of my winnings in the same basket I won at the LPPA convention with a grease gun in it. I got a Bucks County Brewery Tiger Eye Amber Ale.
Nice. All right, Alden.
I just got a Hellas Lager and a really large rum and juice, basically.
Nice. All right, well, I'm drinking my usual scotch tonight, Ardbeg Wee Beastie. I also had lunch with the guy who had to bail at the last minute, Stephen Hilton, today. Went down to his neck of the woods for a job today, and we had lunch
nice.
At Piedmont Brewery. If you're ever in Griffin, Georgia, or Macon, I cannot recommend this brewery more. It had, first of all, the stout was absolutely unbelievable. The pork rinds were the appetizer. They were drizzled with honey and had a whipped blue cheese dip to go along with them. And then they have smoked wings that were, like maybe the best wings I've ever had. It was that stinking good. So Piedmont Brewery, highly recommend. Alden likes cat butt juice, as you can see. That's what he's on tonight. He's straight out of South.
That's my sidecar beverage here tonight. Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Let's get right into our first topic of the night. Let's see here. There we go. All right. Installing a technocracy. So we were sent this article by one of our Dollar Media Club members, Mitch, and the whole crew read it over, and we all have opinions on it. So first off, this is on Eric Wickstrom's Substack. So if you want to go check it out, you absolutely can. If you're in our Discord, you would already have access to it. So if you want to go join the Dollar Media Club and join the Discord, you can go do that on our website, peacefulfeed.network. But let's start out. Zane, let's hear your overall thoughts first.
So I don't think I've ever read an article where somebody gets so close to correctly diagnosing the problem, and then right at the last minute comes to the exact 180 degrees wrong conclusion. The entire article is about, the premise that there is a cabal of people that are using artificial intelligence and various other technologies to subtly gain control over the world population. And wouldn't you know it, there actually is such a group of people that are openly trying to do that very thing. I do wonder if Eric Wickstrom has ever even heard of the World Economic Forum, because that's literally that is the organization that this article should have been about. But instead of that, he says actually the cabal of people is Elon Musk and friends, which I can't even fathom how you would get to the point where that was what you're concerned about. Because, all throughout this article, it's making a lot of accusations without evidence that Elon Musk and his pals have exactly choreographed pretty much all the events of the past 2 years, where it's they knew how to use the assassination attempt on Trump to do exactly what they wanted. They were using Biden as a pawn. Make a lot of assertions with no evidence that it would even be possible for them to have that level of control over all the events.
Mm-hmm.
But then, even after that, right, to say that the group that we need to be concerned about is actually the group that's saying we need less government control over our lives. Like the whole Elon Musk project with Doge is trying to cut government. And, I'm sorry that I'm giving such a harsh critique of your article, but
he didn't write
so if what Elon Musk is trying to do is reduce the possibility of a technocracy taking over the whole world, whereas the people that's actually trying to enact that technocracy, and there's actually evidence available openly that this is what they're trying to do, is the World Economic Forum. But this guy has either never heard of that, or there's a few places in the article where it kind of seems like he thinks that they're the good guys. Like he says a lot about how Elon Musk is trying to overthrow democracy.
Mm-hmm.
And
he does talk about democracy quite a bit.
And he makes a lot of comments in passing about how the current system is, he admits that the current system is broken, but that the solution isn't to do anything as drastic as what Elon Musk is doing. So he seems to be aligning himself more along the lines of people that are kind of, more establishment kind of. And if the argument was that actually Elon Musk is secretly part of kind of the global cabal, including the World Economic Forum and all the other NGOs, that even though Elon Musk is setting himself up as being opposed to that, he's actually part of it. If that was the claim, I don't think I would agree, but that would at least make more sense and we could talk about it. The claim that it's actually solely Elon Musk and his friends are trying to institute a technocracy, and they are opposed to the good forces of democracy and good government, that I think is frankly ridiculous, and it's a classic example of the phrase "every accusation is a projection."
There we go.
So,
okay, that's hang on, Nick. Let's get Matthew. Matthew, you read the article. What were your initial thoughts on after reading it, even if they completely conflict with what Zane just said?
I mean, I wouldn't say they completely conflict, but I would say I think the argument that Elon Musk would somehow be a part of this cabal, which I don't think exists, but would be a part of this cabal, I think does make sense in the argument they're making, because he would want to, at least according to the argument, he would want to, decrease the power of the federal government so the tech companies would have more power. And that kind of seems to be what they are trying to do, not in a cabal-like fashion, but they want to cut government employees. They want to gut the federal government so that these corporations have more power. But I would agree that the World Economic Forum, the World Bank, and these, international monetary institutions do have a lot of power and are probably trying to have a lot of say over, how things are done.
Mhm.
I would say also that I feel like a lot of the conspiratorial thinking really just leads to a sense of helplessness and like inevitability, which is one thing I hate about the conspiracy theories and how crazy they often get, is that this article really paints it as it's like inevitable. This is going to happen. There's going to be this techno-feudal oligarchy that forms, and that takes away a lot of the power of the people who can actually change that. And I think engaging in politics would kind of prevent this.
Yeah. Okay.
Wasn't the article kind of calling for some kind of like limited window action at the end, like to like
Yeah.
just to give some credit to the article for like not
Mhm.
trying to just do
Yeah.
the helplessness thing only, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
at
I
the
don't
very-
think that the article gets credit for
Yeah.
that, because the article does something which I can't stand, which is call for action, but in a way that's so vague that it's
Yeah,
not
it is a
clear
little-
what action is being called for, or even if such action is possible. Like, he concludes the article by saying,
Mhm.
we need to,
You want me to read it?
we need to advance these technologies in a way that benefits everybody, not just the elite. But it's like, well, how? What do you even mean by that? If anybody got powerful enough to be able to introduce new technologies in a way that would actually make a big impact on a lot of people, you would just turn around and call him a new tech oligarch. So even by his own definition, I don't think his outcome that he wants is even possible.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a vague ending. I mean, he like the very last paragraph is, maybe we're on a verge of breaking free from hidden oppression that has kept humanity in economic chains and confusion, moving toward a new, freer technological utopia. I'm sure that vision is within reach, but unfortunately, I don't believe that's where we as a global population are being led right now.
it's
And that-
frustrating that I think he got vague when he should have been more specific, and he got almost too specific, like what Zane was pointing out about like calling out certain people like Musk and Doge and things like that. I wish he'd actually maybe not name some of those people to be less like predictive or polarizing, and be a little bit more vague about that, and just leave it at the sort of tech elite or whatever. It's
Yeah.
kind of
I think one thing that he definitely attributes to like conspiracy that I think is just attributed to how just life unfolds and people taking advantage of certain situations is like there was a whole dadgummit, I gotta find it. There's a whole section where
it's hard to find anything in this article because it's like 8 weeks long. So
it is pretty long, but hang on, I'm almost there. I remember
While you're finding that part, I do want to address
Like a
something that
sandwich.
Matt said.
Oh.
Speaking of, the tech companies probably having an incentive to cut the federal government in order to increase power to themselves, which I'm sure that that's in their thinking. But many people that make that critique, I'm not saying this is you, but I'm saying many people that are very concerned about the tech CEOs getting a lot more power, they never seem to have any issue with the fact that the federal government has that power to begin with. They only become concerned when other people come in to try to cut the power, because they might try to siphon off a portion of that power to themselves. Overlooking the fact that the government is the only entity that legally can enforce their power over you without you having any say in it at all. Like, I would much rather be in some kind of situation where Elon Musk has, some sort of power over me. I don't know exactly, in a business transaction where I'm his customer. So like, he's providing me with a product, but I can also choose whether to buy that product or not. Where I'd much rather have that situation than have the federal government as it exists now, where no matter what they do, I can't say, I don't want to be your customer anymore. I don't want to pay taxes anymore, because that's way more difficult to do than to just stop buying a product.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I
So
think-
hang on one second, Nick.
Yeah.
I found the spot. So the part where he lost me was when he started talking about Trump's miraculous survival and the perfectly staged assassination attempt, as if a kid from Pennsylvania who failed out of the marksmanship team could purposefully hit Trump's ear on stage. That whole thing was absurd. I do not agree that any part of that was staged for Trump to survive it. I think it was probably staged for him to, I mean, it was 100% staged for him to die, but I don't know by who. Maybe
I'm
just
still
Thomas
open to that because there's a lot of fishiness around the whole thing, and I would just throw out just one idea that would, because I know what you're saying with that particular kid, and he was not historically known as like being a good marksman and all that, and but it could have been that somebody else, you know, shot his ear or something like that, or it could have been that he had a charge behind his ear and it went and no one shot his ear or whatever. I'm just throwing out crazy other things just to.
So the only one that I could possibly believe is like possibly believe is if there's a charge behind his ear, but I cannot think that that is actually the case.
I didn't say that's exactly what I believe.
Yeah,
I'm
because
just
then
saying
because then you're still shooting bullets in his general direction. I mean,
I fought in your general direction.
There's just I cannot think of a marksman that can hit a moving target that tiny when Trump. I mean, he turned his head and got shot in the ear. Like, anyway,
it very well could have been.
That's the point.
Real attempt. I don't know.
And also, if it wasn't him, that means that shot came from further out. You know, I think the next mark out was like 400 yards, and that doesn't align with the shots either.
Yeah, no.
Because you know, if you watched when it happened, some of the audio analysis of the crack bang on it,
yeah,
the first shots did come in right around that 150-yard range whenever you calculated it for a 5.56 round. So those were, you know, right on. You know, those came from that place. That was the only place in that range that could have come from. So
I'm just skeptical of everything.
Yeah, Mitch said he thinks it was staged. Have you seen his ear lately? It don't look shot. I completely disagree. He showed it to Rogan on the Joe Rogan show, and Rogan said it definitely had a scar. It had definitely been. Ears heal shockingly quickly and shockingly well. Like that's unless they're punched. There's a difference between cutting your ear. I mean, this is why, like, when you pierce your ear, it heals back up. Like it's not the same thing. Like it has a scar on it. Like Rogan pointed it out on his show, and he's not the only one. For the same reason they bleed a lot. There we go.
I think it's because of all the blood vessels. The more blood vessels there are in the
Yeah.
area, the faster it heals.
Rogan said it's on camera, Mitch.
It's the AI technocracy.
Oh, that's funny.
In general, without getting into the stagey shooting thing or whatever, that aside, when it was talking though about Trump being maybe not just an accident, I'm open to that though too, in general, where Trump is positioned sort of strategically to whip up sort of the aggressive following and the aggressive opposition, because in that friction point is where a lot of change can happen. When people are really fearful or really angry, there's when people are more likely to abandon their own principles to kind of like cut the nose to spite the face kind of thing. Like you'll do something that, that's hilarious. I love that. Well said. But do something that on principle could turn around and bite you later, but you're so angry at someone now that you're willing to like reduce your own freedoms or, you know, do something to just spite someone or whatever. And I feel like creating that environment yields a lot of opportunity for, you know, passing certain laws or like making certain changes. Anyway,
you're not wrong. I get that argument. I'm more inclined to like agree with Dave Smith's argument that he's made a ton of times is just the fact that Trump was a reaction to the Obama years and all the things that went on during those 8 years. And it was less that he was positioned. It was the American people were fed up with what had been going on for 8 years and wanted something completely devoid from.
Or was Obama planted as well, and the person before him and the person before him, and it's just the pendulum, the forced pendulum swing.
It could just be a lot of plants going back and forth with a war, but that would negate this article being some type of perfectly planned chess game where it would be more of just a war behind the scenes where the pendulum swings back and forth. And that would not yield the same results as what this article would
Are you sure?
tell you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I mean, we have to look at incentives on everything, right? I mean, that drives everything.
Yeah.
So for a while there in the Obama year, late Obama, as the social media is coming online, we even saw that a little late into later up through Biden there, you had, Mark Zuckerberg going to, being dragged in front of Congress and saying, oh, well, regulate me, and that puts up economic barriers. And now you see that swung back because, at that time, you've got all the, we need to protect against hate speech and this and that. And then all the stuff that the kind of the popular left culture was driving. And now you've seen such a hard turn against that. You're getting, Elon coming in and saying free speech and putting out a petition saying I like free speech in the Second Amendment and I'll pay you $100 if you sign it.
Zuckerberg's done a 180.
And Zuckerberg's done a 180. So you look at the incentives, and I don't think all of their incentives, I don't think all of their interests always align, but I think incentives speak there. One thing to always consider on this, when you talk Elon Musk, you start diving down like the PayPal rabbit hole, and all the whole PayPal mafia and who was involved with that and where are they at now. And of course that brings you to Peter Thiel, who's always kind of the technocracy guy that has been kind of, labeled quote unquote libertarian for a while. But
so I do think he's the shadiest person.
Right. You're being labeled. You're being called libertarian, and yet you're behind Palantir, the company that makes the software that sucks up all your data, right? So like that's always sketchy, but also that's to try to group him back in with Musk on that is like, okay, one's saying we're cutting everything, and one's incentive is, well, let me do business and sell you all this stuff. So it's
right.
I know this, but
go ahead, Alden.
Also, Zach thinks you're on the wrong mic.
Oh, Alden, are you on the wrong mic?
I didn't have time to set up my other mic today.
Gotcha. No worries. Keep going.
So he's right, I am. But the Palantir, if you pronounce it a little differently, the Palantir or whatever in the Lord of the Rings, isn't that like the all-seeing stone thing?
Yeah,
like
that's what he named it after.
Spy. Okay, so this is intentionally because doesn't he not just like take up data, but it isn't also like a network of security BS or whatever that's like.
Yeah, I mean he's obsessed with Lord of the Rings, so a bunch of his companies.
I didn't realize that. Okay, yeah. Because I was like, I know this word, and I never like made the connection before because people say it slightly differently. But
yeah, there are some good memes out there with him with that crystal ball thing.
Oh, okay.
Matthew, you got any reactions to anything that these guys have been saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a fine line between kind of regulating these companies, especially the ones who want to like use AI and like this mass surveillance to watch all of us and like government power. I don't know. I feel like with kind of a response to what was said earlier, I think that the left really did make a mistake in terms of under the Obama administration, whenever he first came in, and I was like 5 years old whenever Obama was elected, so I wasn't very old, but there was kind of a sense of like change and optimism, and he did nothing. Like he basically did nothing in office. Like he got Obamacare and he got the nuclear deal with Iran, but he didn't really do much. And there was kind of this feeling on the left of like, they don't work for us. And then we got Hillary Clinton again, which challenged Obama back in 2008 and lost. And she was a horrible candidate. And I think Donald Trump is just like was and is a reaction to kind of the woke culture that came about in the left, which has utterly failed the Democratic Party. And this focus on like identity politics to like escape the economic reality. And they just act like, oh, the economy's fine. And it's just, there's a major problem on the left in terms of marketing our ideas and just like policing people's speech, which I think is the dumbest thing we could have done as the left. And
it's very not left. It's very not according to their own.
Yeah, yeah,
When I was
like the left
growing up-
and something. No, go on.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
Alden, go
I
ahead.
think there's a delay a little bit.
Oh
I'm
no,
sorry.
well,
Yeah, Matthew,
Oh,
real quick,
no, sorry,
log
it's
back
probably
out and
my
log
internet.
back in. Yeah, log back out, log back in, and
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're all
No,
good.
you're good, man.
Happens all the time. Alden, what were you about to say?
Okay, give me one.
Just that what the left is doing now is even just 10, 20 years ago or whatever, maybe 30 years ago. I don't know exactly when it like hard switched or whatever, if it was a gradual thing, but somewhere before this era of the left, they were the liberals, which were all about like personal freedoms, and it was not about censoring speech, and they were all about art and shit, and just like expressing yourself and having the right to free speech. It felt like sort of their thing in the 90s and maybe even 2000s. So I don't.
Yeah.
It's just very weird to see them be the ones that are censoring more now or whatever. I don't know. Just
one of the most illuminating photographs I think I've ever seen was a picture in the 1960s of a student protest at UC Berkeley, and a bunch of people were all holding up a sign that said free speech. If you went to a leftist protest anywhere today, you would never see a sign that said free speech within 500 feet of that.
Yeah.
Grumpy. I stepped away and you already booted the guest. Sorry about that, Matthew.
No, it's fine.
No, plenty of times Alden has had crappy internet. Zane has had crappy internet. It's no big deal at all. It happens, and there's not much you can do about it. So it is. Yeah, I don't know. I was not convinced. I understood his argument. Like I got where he's coming from. Just like his base theory. I just didn't think he backed it up very well, and it sounded far more. He didn't provide enough facts for me to at all consider this to be a conspiracy.
He went a little too predictive and a little too like Philip K. Dick for it to be, I think, taken seriously by most people probably. He went a little like into the future of like, so the Doge thing, I was writing down some notes. He was basically talking about that he's afraid that Doge is going to replace the human judgment part with AI. And I'm like, okay, but we haven't seen that yet. So as far as I know, we haven't gotten there yet. And then later he was talking about like some Minority Report shit where there's a quote I wrote down, like predicting and preventing undesirable behavior before it happens and stuff. And I'm like, I see where the concern is there, but then he never backs it up with exactly what kind of technology is leading us to specifically that place. And I feel like this article should have had like very different like chapters or like sections or like spin-off articles where like if you're going to talk about that whole thing, like that's a whole other point kind of. And to start with like, oh, go ahead, Zane.
I do actually want to get into that portion of the article for a bit, because there are kind of two important things there. One, which you kind of already started talking about, was where he gets into, they're going to use AI to like predict crimes and infringe on people's privacy in a whole bunch of ways. And it's like, I agree that the current government is doing that. You're not supporting your claim that somehow Elon Musk, by cutting the government, is going to start doing that even more when the government we already have is already doing it out the wazoo.
Yeah.
Where like, and then also where he gets to the point where he describes that Elon Musk and other tech CEOs are going to start creating their own microstates, and they're going to roll over everybody.
I actually my own microstate, so I don't really care. That's fine.
Yeah, so even on its own terms, I think that that's a way more preferable situation than what we're in now, where we all live in a global empire. Because like
it would appeal to libertarians. Yeah.
So he does say that this is like a medieval system, and in a way that's right, because in the Middle Ages, right after the Black Deaths, you had this really complicated system of microstates that were all in like various different confederations and fiefdoms with each other.
Yeah.
But because there was so much competition in government, that actually led to prosperity. You know, if one government got too big or too tyrannical, you could literally move 10 miles down the road to go somewhere else and live there instead. So it actually made governments be a lot smaller than it was. And this is actually one of the factors that led to the birth of modern capitalism, was the fact that in Europe you had so many different, you know, political entities competing with each other to make people move there, that people went to the areas where they were most able to start businesses, you know, go to places that had sound money, that sort of thing. So I do not think, even on its own terms, that having a series of microstates that are run like companies would be bad. I think it would be great.
If I can add, I think that whenever the feudal era of Europe, most people weren't able to move. They were peasants who basically the land was owned by the rich people. And where capitalism really started was in Holland. So in the modern in the modern day Netherlands, it was happening like right in on the coast there, and there were a lot of rich people who kind of ran the government like it was a republic. It was like one of the first republics up there who kind of created capitalism. It was mercantilism, which is the predecessor to capitalism. And really the poor people, which I think that this article is saying, is that, I mean, the poor people who are used by these new techno-feudal states, which would not really have a say. Again, they're living in a monopoly like those monopolies. So I don't think most people could move. If you were well off, you could.
Right, but that you're obviously the situation for the average person in 1400 was still a pretty low standard of living. But I think the point is that it was not any worse for them, the fact that they lived in a much smaller political unit. It's not like people that lived in huge empires at that time were doing any better due to the fact that they were living in huge empires. At least the fact that they had different states competing with each other may have at least made it marginally better for them. Like, and especially for like the artisan class. So like people that made, you know, pottery or craftsmen, or essentially the class one up from the peasant farmers. That's who it was really good for and who was really starting most of the businesses at that time. But in the modern day example, or in, I suppose, the future prediction that the article author is talking about, where, you know, the poor of all of these microstates are going to have no say and are just going to be ruled over with an iron.
They're going to be in
fist.
Ready Player One, like virtual cyber prisons or whatever.
I don't think that any of those predictions follow, because why would you just assume that the tech billionaires are going to have any interest in dealing with poor people at all? If all that they would do is just suck resources out of the system, which is what this article claims that they would do, why would the tech CEOs spend any time on them at all, even to oppress them? If oppressing them is way more bother, then it's even worse.
According to Curtis Yarvin, biofuel. That's what he said.
But
yeah,
I think the concerns of technocracy are there, right? I mean, as Zane kind of mentioned, you see, you know, Zane, you've got Banished Big Brother on the network, right? I mean, you've got
we should have had Zach. I realize now we should have had Zach on this show, but that's okay.
Yeah, so you know, you've got the cameras and the facial
yeah.
recognition and all that stuff that was coming in regardless, you know, long before Elon Musk got on the political scene, or at least as active as he was on the political scene.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, of course, this is a thing to be concerned about, but as long as the guy, you know, as long as someone's saying the right stuff, you know, and tweeting Ron Paul was right and seems to be slashing government and doing a lot of stuff that we've always wanted, I'm gonna give that a little leeway. And you know, I think we've seen that the Trump side of it, you know, the Trump community has bought into this narrative, bought into this concept that has been presented. And so, you know, we saw the other day when they tried to release the Epstein files, with the influencers, and everyone went, "What the fuck is this?" Like some of the biggest, loudest, vocal, most vocal supporters of Trump, who, he's never done anything wrong, like Laura Loomer, is still on about what a terrible idea this was. Now, I don't think she's blaming him; she's blaming people around. But if that's not the biggest break I've seen with his base, with his administration, I don't know what is, and we're a month into the administration. So, I think they're expecting what was promised to be delivered on, and stepping outside of the boundaries of what there is.
So Mitch says all the surveillance was already there, but we needed Trump and the Silicon Bros to make y'all cheer for it.
I don't think that I'm cheering for surveillance.
I'm not cheering for anything.
I don't like surveillance at all. I'm just saying I don't think the fact that we have Doge is making the surveillance any worse. I think that if it's having any effect, I think that it's hopefully making it better. I don't see how it's making it worse. And also, if I had to choose between being spied on by Elon Musk or being spied on by the federal government, I would choose to be being spied on by Musk, because he's not in a.
Going to yell at you in the comments.
He's not. Private companies are not in a situation where they can force me to interact with them, unlike the federal government, which can. That's the key difference. I don't like being surveilled by anybody, not by the government, not by private companies. But if it has to be, I'm going to be way more concerned about surveillance by the government.
Yeah, no, that's. I like the point. I can hear Mitch's ears exploding right now, and I understand where he's going to come from. So Alden mentioned something in this article that actually leads us directly into the next article on this same topic. Let's go ahead and pull that up, Zach. Brain activity can predict crowd behavior. A new study shows that brain activity in small groups can predict large-scale decision-making. Using functioning MRI, researchers found that activity in the, whatever that is, nucleus accumbens, NACC, during initial effective responses consistently aligned with choices made by thousands of online patients. While individual decisions varied, the early brain responses were broadly shared, making them useful for neuroforecasting real-world behavior. So there's some Minority Report stuff right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think of that one, Alden?
Neuroforecasting.
Yeah, they make it sound like you're just predicting the weather. Like it's harmless,
The weather of humanity.
Yeah, I thought this article was extremely interesting. I don't think I put it in the chat because I found it a little later.
No, I didn't read this. Yeah,
I found it a little later in the day, but I thought that the neuroforecasting was a very interesting term used there that I'd never heard before. Matthew, I think you read this one, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something definitely to be worried about, but I would hope that this would never be something that the government would allow for people to use. But then again, I don't have much faith in the government. So
in fact, I can almost guarantee that they're already using it, and then they're going to promulgate regulations to make people to pretend that they're making people safe from it, where they're going to prevent companies from using anything even close to this. But guess what? Those regulations aren't going to stop the government from using it.
So having not read the article, having not read the article, but it mentioned functional MRI. So, does that mean that they have to be scanning your brain in order to make these predictions in an MRI machine? Because that's kind of the limiting factor there is how long can you get someone to hold still in a machine while you try to figure out, right?
Yeah, you have to hold very still. Like
I guess if the technology was perfected, they could have like when you walk into an Apple store, those things that like scan your cards, they just like read your brain. They're like, okay, we're gonna show him this screen, or if they get something with like a camera, or just like your camera on your computer, somehow scanning your brain waves. And I don't know if that's possible, but
did you see the thing with the Wi-Fi routers where they're now able to like take
through walls
the Wi-Fi routers and it's like the Dark Knight, like.
It's exactly like the Dark Knight.
Yeah,
I saw that I think last year, and I was I unplugged my Wi-Fi for like a week.
It's probably a good idea to
You gotta
unplug
figure
it like
that
when
out.
you're sleeping or something. Yeah.
Actually, that is, I think that's some proven science. Is you should unplug your Wi-Fi when you're sleeping, which is
I think I'm gonna start like setting an alarm at night and morning to like turn it off and on kind of thing. The problem is Haley wakes up way before me, my girlfriend, and so
you don't have to do that. Get a Wi-Fi plug and just plug it in and set a timer.
you can do what now?
There's a plug that
What year do we live in?
there's a
You don't have to physically switch things on and off.
you don't have to just physically unplug things, Alden. I know,
All right.
I know that's difficult for you to believe, but
I don't understand it, but yeah.
But if it turns on while you're still asleep and she's gone, is it reading your dreams?
Yeah, see? I don't want that.
Okay, we're gonna do final words for this this whole topic. Zane, we'll start with you. What are your final thoughts on the technocracy? Keep it short.
Oh, well, I depend so much on reacting to other people. I don't have any original thoughts. to
We'll
share
go
right now.
backwards. We can
Perfect.
use it
Okay,
last.
Nick.
That's fine.
Nick, you go. What's your thoughts on the technocracy?
Yeah. I am concerned about the way technology is used in the surveillance that's come out.
Mhm.
I don't see the step right now to Elon Musk being some mastermind behind all of this, behind some crazy techno feudal future. I'm not saying that it can't happen, but that's not where we're at right now. And I think there, if it actually starts showing, it starts going down a path that starts leading that direction versus, hey, let's fire a bunch of federal government employees and cut a whole bunch of, money going to ridiculous programs. I'm good with cutting the programs. I'm good with firing the federal employees. And if we start getting outside of that lane, then let's revisit and reassess and see where things have to go from there.
All right, Alden.
If there's one thing that I think I want to like highlight about the main article that Mitch sent, that I think in general, I think it's real and true, and I would like people to like consider and just like keep an eye out for, is the idea of the false dichotomy in general, and like pitting sides against each other, and sort of the illusion of left and right and the pendulum swing thing. And another way to interpret that is sort of the illusion of the difference between government and private. And I don't think it's as separate as we think it is, or we would like it to be. And especially when you consider the tech industry, and when you consider like the origins of the companies for Facebook and Google and all these other fucking companies, where it's like the CIA donated the technology to all of these fucking companies. And you don't think that they're in cahoots at this point? I'm sorry. I'm going to go. You said to keep it short. That's a whole other thing. So there's that, where it's just, they're all interconnected. If big, large private companies, whether it's tech or like the military industrial complex kind of like companies, and like fucking Halliburton and, Lockheed Martin and these things, they are in bed so deep with the government that they're inseparable. They're basically just two hands, two sides of a coin. And one just washes the other kind of thing constantly, and it's just frustrating. And the other thing is that the article didn't mention, like Zane had pointed out, the WEF, but also didn't mention the Council on Foreign Relations, or the Trilateral Commission, or the Bilderberg Group, or the World Bank. And there's like so many other problems that go, and it involves the combination of the private and the public, and just watching the different figures that go through there that end up dictating terms for our like peasant lives, and that's another thing to just in general, I would say, pay attention to. But
Love your peasant life, Alden. Just enjoy it.
Yeah, embrace my chicken owning peasant life.
No chickens.
All right, Matthew, you got any final words on the topic?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that I don't think that the article really fully encapsulates where we are right now. And I don't think there's that giant cabal, but I would say be not fearful, because I think fear is like not the way to approach this, but be wary of the rise of a tech oligarchy, be wary of the rise of these multi-billion-dollar conglomerates from taking over the public sector. I would say that really kind of what Zane says, they're really close, but they're just not there. And so I think you should really be fearful of kind of the collapse of what most people 100 years ago, or maybe a little bit less than 100 years ago, would have seen as capitalism, which is actual competition in the market, which you don't see. You have companies, which this gets out of the tech. You see companies like Walmart or Amazon or Meta, and they have these multi-billion-dollar monopolies over, you know, their sectors of the economy. And I think using the government, which is where we get away from the kind of inevitability argument, using the government in a way to break up these companies. But I would say you need to be, you can't use the current government as it is. So the government needs reforming. And I think the biggest point of reform, which kind of gets off topic and I don't want to go on too long, but the biggest point of reform is money in politics. So I'm blanking on the Supreme Court case, which I should remember it. But
Citizens
I think
United.
it was, yeah,
Citizens
yeah.
United.
Yes, Citizens United, and that needs to be overturned. I don't know if the Supreme Court will do that now, but there needs to be public funding of elections. We need to get rid of these super PACs, and we need to oust basically every member of Congress in a primary. I think after that we can, after that we can maybe get some change, but you know.
All right, Zach, Zane, you get the final word, buddy.
Before Zane goes, I have like a 1 second thing after Matthew's. One, I just wanted to say I like the distinction between fearful and wary. I think that's interesting. I appreciate that. And then the last thing is he brought up something that about like Amazon and Walmart or something, and it just reminded me of another point, the public and private and the illusion of the distinction between the two. An example real quick. During COVID, government makes a decision that basically, you know, bans, you know, a lot of people from being able to go to work and do whatever. But Amazon had record profits and Pfizer had record profits and certain big companies had record profits. And they look like there's a gap there. And then also the people that made that decision, closed door meeting, sold their stocks or whatever for things like hospitality and whatever, made a ton of money or saved themselves from losing a ton of money or whatever. Just again, private and public, just the illusion. I just wanted to, it just gave me one more example to just
agreed. Zane, Zane, you have 30 seconds.
Well, everybody else got way more than that.
Okay, you have one.
You should have gone first, Zane.
Okay, so the difference between government and private, it's not an illusion. There's a bright line difference, which is that government is the entity that claims to have a legal monopoly on the initiation of force against peaceful people. So I'm not saying that there can be no overlap in all the ways that you describe between companies and the state, but what you're really talking about there is all of the ways in which companies figure out that they can use the state to their advantage. If they had not gotten involved with the state to begin with, we would not be having all of these issues. So like during COVID, you know, it had COVID been a lot worse than it was, and had it been legitimate for people not to want to go outside, actually it would have been hugely helpful for Amazon to be giving everybody free shipping and delivering stuff right to their house. And, you know, given that lockdown was the policy, it still was helpful that Amazon was able to do that. But the problem becomes, you know, was Amazon lobbying for lockdowns to be worse than it was? You know, was Amazon donating to people who were advocating for, you know, the COVID hysteria? So it's all these ways which the companies have figured out that they can use the violence of the state to enhance their own ends. Where if the state wasn't able to be used in that way, then companies would not be defiling themselves with it. I think there's a lot of concern trolling might be too harsh of a term, but there's a lot of the time where left-wing activists will get really upset about something that a company is doing when the government is doing the same thing 10 times worse. So it's like, oh no, Facebook knows what my favorite flavor of ice cream is. That's horrible. But then in the meantime, the government has been collecting the phone records of hundreds of millions of people for the past decade.
Right. Yeah. I mean, all good points. I actually agree with a ton of what everybody just said. So thank y'all for addressing that article. I thought it was a good, it brought up some interesting points and made for a good discussion. So before we
now
get
we need
on,
to know what everyone's favorite ice cream flavor is, though.
Before we get on to Drunkard of the Week, Grumpy is in the comments, and he reminded me of something.
That ducks are
When
better
is
than
Liberty
chickens.
Libations going to endorse the campaign of Gnome Mad Dog? We're going to do that right now. Liberty Libations officially endorses Grumpy Gnome and Mad Dog to run as for the chair and vice chair of the Libertarian Party in 2026.
You might regret the clip of that getting out.
That's fine. I'll live with it. Make America Libertan again is their slogan. It's the perfect slogan for a Grumpy Gnome Mad Dog campaign.
Grumpy, you can add my name to your list of endorsements.
There we go. There we
I
go.
don't know if you
got that
want
clip.
my name on there, but I'll sign it if you want.
You can go
He
click
didn't
that.
even ask me if I wanted to endorse him. He just assumed I endorsed him.
If you're on this show, you have to endorse him, you know, and Matthew doesn't really count because I don't think he's a member of the Libertarian Party, so his endorsement means almost nothing.
Yeah. I don't think it carries much weight over there.
Yeah, probably not. All right, y'all, it's that time.
I am not fucking drunk.
My teeth are blue.
Every pretty girl deserves to go to a ball.
This is everything about it's a clam. I love it.
I gotta be honest with you, I feel like I'm a little bit too drunk to stand up.
On Wiedersehen, asshole.
I'm drunk right now.
All right. Welcome to Drunkard of the Week, the portion of the show where we select one clip. In this case, it's actually two clips of somebody doing something or saying something that can only be explained if they're drunk, but they're not. So here are technically two clips, but really, like, I don't know. It's just a bunch. It's just a lot of stuff going on in this clip.
Just roll the video.
Here we go.
I will immediately bring prices down starting on day one.
That ain't true. That's what you just heard. Since day one of Donald Trump's presidency, prices are not down, they're up. Inflation is getting worse, not better. The prices of grocery, gas, housing, eggs, of essentials, it's not getting better, it's getting worse. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has done enough goose eggs to lower prices. Instead, he's pardoned violent criminals who savagely beat police officers.
On January 6th.
He's letting Elon Musk take a chainsaw to vital government programs and then, even worse, giving him access to Americans' most sensitive data. Social security numbers, tax returns, health care bills. He's fired thousands of essential workers, people who help our veterans get their benefits, people fighting Ebola in Africa so it doesn't come here. He's frozen funding for vital programs that so many
Ebola over there.
Cancer, education funds, payments to family farmers, and so much worse. Why are they doing this? Trump, Musk, Doge are taking these vital services away from you for one reason only, so they can raise to their billionaires club. Their plan is awful, simply awful. Billionaires win, families lose. And that is the truth.
And that is the truth.
And that is the truth.
Choose your character. I'm not as think as you drunk I am.
Oh, this past
party
week in the media. I mean, so it wasn't just those three senators. It was 22 representatives of.
Thank you for not playing 22 different.
There are those videos of 22, and you can't understand the word they're freaking.
Well, it's like
There are 22 of those, and I will get there, Nick, where they put out identical videos with same script, same B-roll. 22 of them put them out the same day to protest Trump's State of the Union and everything that he's been doing in the first 6 weeks or whatever of his presidency. It reminds me of, if y'all watched Divide and Dominate, we had a clip in there of a series of like 60 or more news affiliates saying the exact same script across the entire nation, saying the exact same thing, not actually doing anything original, not putting any critical thought into what they're saying, just basically acting in front of a camera.
They're Ron Burgundy. They read the teleprompter. But yes, I was going to say Divide and Dominate, which is available of $2 Media Club members over on the Peaceful Sea Network.
There we go. Yeah.
I mean,
nice organic plug there.
This kind of messaging from the Democrats, I feel like it is so insulting to your intelligence that even the average person would recognize what hypocrites they're being, because they spent 4 years saying inflation's transitory. There is no inflation. It's only the grocery stores being greedy.
But now it's getting worse.
And then
implying it was bad
which is actually a good thing.
In the past 6 weeks, less than 2 months, now all of a sudden the inflation has reached an unacceptable level where it's like, you can't possibly believe that. It's been 6 weeks. What do you expect? The supply chain is way too long for anything to have an effect on it in 6 weeks. I mean,
especially when the Biden administration ordered over 100 million chickens slaughtered.
Yeah.
It's like these people, the only way that you could say that and believe it is if you think the only way to curtail inflation is through price controls. And because Trump hasn't enacted any price controls, therefore he has done nothing to combat inflation. I mean, you can't even conceive how economically illiterate that is, but that must be the thinking. If you actually are going to depend on the free market to fix it, then you've got to give it more than 6 weeks.
Yeah. All right.
Harris tried to run on price controls. That's their new.
She did. Yeah. Matthew, as a non-libertarian, what were your thoughts on the drunkard of the week?
I think it's incredibly cringe to see a bunch of Democratic members of Congress doing that Hoosier fighter thing. It's
that was pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't know who that appeals to, but it's got to be such a small demographic. It's not going to help them at all. And then with the first clip, I was going to bring up, because I had the same thought of those local news reporters literally saying the exact same thing. And I will say that that's how talking points work in politics. Like, you see Republicans get handed the same thing.
Verbatim, though? Yeah.
Well, see, that's what I'm going to add is I don't know if the Republicans go out and have each, like, multiple members of the Senate or members of the U.S. Congress, like, repeating the exact same script. Which literally you could put that through ChatGPT and just get a variation in an instant and just have them read different ones. I don't know why you would have it be the exact same script. But it's also I mean, but like it's not good messaging, so
it's really not. Man. You're totally right. It's you want to, if you're the Democratic Party right now, you want to put out this same messaging, but you don't want it to be identical, and you don't want it to be so obvious that no one's actually putting any thought into this.
Well, you're gonna get busted right away on this. I mean, like you said, like the news article one from years ago. I mean, that someone figured that out and compiled it. It's not going to take long for the internet to realize, oh, these two people said the same thing, or start catching on. Hey, this sounded similar when they see two different videos, and then go and look. Okay, who else has done a video? And then it's like, oh, we now have 20 of them. You're gonna get busted on the internet. Yes, run it through ChatGPT. Like, go off of talking points. Think a little bit about what you want to actually say. But it's like they think you're retarded.
Yeah.
The craziest thing is that Chuck Schumer and Cory Booker think that they have large enough audiences where they feel like they have to put out their own version of the video. Like, if it's going to be literally the exact same script, how about you just put out one video?
Yeah, just retweet Elizabeth Warren saying it or doing it.
Yeah, honestly.
You don't gotta do it yourself. That's so stupid.
Wasn't there an ad during?
What's that,
sorry.
man?
Well,
no, that's all right.
Wasn't there an ad during the last election back in, I guess 2024, where they had a bunch of members of the U.S. Congress, like, basically it was one script, but they just said different parts of it. They could have done the same thing. Speaking of, like, the one video,
that would have been a much better video.
Yeah,
much better video. Yep.
Yeah.
They could have done their own version of all the celebrities singing "Imagine."
Exactly. They totally could have done that. All right. Go ahead.
In that article that we were talking about before, there was a part, like, way early on in it, like page 1 of 1,000 or whatever, that it was talking about the mistrust of media, and it kind of pointed to something that I think is actually maybe possibly true, but where the sort of implosion of trust in the media is not just by chance, and it could be by design. And these types of things, we're all basically saying it would be so easy to like not seem so obvious unless they don't give a shit that they're obvious, kind of thing. I don't know. It's just a thought, but.
All right. We're going to move on from Drunkard of the Week to our third topic of the day. Zach, go ahead and put it up on the screen. New BlackRock to take over key Panama Canal ports from a Hong Kong-based firm following President Trump's criticisms of China's influence on the canal. U.S. firms led by BlackRock are taking over two important ports for nearly $23 billion. China is operating the Panama Canal, and we didn't give it to China. We gave it to Panama. I'm sorry. China is operating the Panama Canal. We didn't give it to China. We gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back. Trump said a month ago. Yeah. So this happened the day after Trump's State of the Union, which we don't got to watch the video. That's just a video of that.
Is it a video of it getting stuck in the canal?
Just mute it, man. You can play it. Just mute it.
Wait, is that one of the songs from Pirates of the Caribbean?
I think it's Caribbean, but yeah.
You know what's funny is I say the Caribbean, but if it's Pirates precedes it, then it's Caribbean. I don't know why that's the way it is. But
dude, I didn't
like,
realize that till just now.
The nut is a pecan, but it's pecan pie, motherfucker. Like, I don't understand why. I don't make the rules. It just is. Like,
it's so funny. I never thought about that. Has anybody ever watched one of these videos of the Panama Canal and how it all works?
The Panama Canal is pretty
with
sweet.
The lock systems and the
lock systems are so cool.
Where like floods and drains and
it really is just a massive feat of engineering. It's freaking incredible. That one in is it
built by mosquitoes?
Denmark or the Netherlands that has the one that like has the ships go in a like rotation?
No, that's Scotland.
Is it Scotland?
The Falkirk wheel.
Yes, the Falkirk wheel.
Where they rotate and point another direction.
Where it's a canal coming down to another, I guess, a stream or a river.
Yeah.
And so to get up, the canal is above grade on it. So you have so it has a wheel where you pull it's for a much smaller boat. It's not for a full size ship, but then it just rotates you up to the level of the canal and then you're off.
This feels like something from God of War, like a video game puzzle system.
Okay, well, enough about the locks. Oh my gosh!
I like that you said enough about it. We go right back to it.
Zach's becoming Jamie. He's going to start pulling things up.
Hey, Tom Scott made great videos before he retired. I used to watch his videos all the time. That's probably how I know the Falkirk wheel.
That's fair. Let's see. It looks like Steven is here in the background, which is going to make us have 6 folks on screen. So let me get our 6-person layout going here. Everybody, when we add a 6th person, it's going to be a little crowded. I'm going to cut people off very quickly. We're not going to have a situation where everybody's we're not going to have a situation where everybody's talking over each other. But yeah, that's just how it's going to be. So, all right. Let's add Steven to the stage. Steven, welcome to the show, man.
What's up, fellas?
It'll actually make trivia more interesting, which I will enjoy.
Fair.
There we go.
All right. BlackRock. Steven, you and I talked about this a little bit today. BlackRock buys 2 ports at the Panama Canal. What are your thoughts on that?
So my initial reaction was, so the timing was really weird. Like, so this thing just popped up in the headlines of like, so Trump has the State of the Union. So, I mean, obviously during the campaign trail, he was talking about, we're taking back the Panama Canal. And then State of the Union, he talks about it again. And he says that, we're getting closer to this deal. The day before the State of the Union, the president of Panama said it's not for sale. And so State of the Union, he says, we're going to get the Panama Canal. And then the day after, all the headlines come out that BlackRock bought 2 of the key ports at the Panama Canal, which were apparently for sale.
Now that's one on the Atlantic and one on the Pacific side, right? Balboa is on the Atlantic side, and the other one's on the Pacific, I believe.
I don't know which one's on which, but it's one on either side. Yes.
So now there's a difference between the ports and the canal itself. I mean, most of the stuff transiting the canal is staying on the same ship, going through the canal and coming out the other side versus,
Most of
being
the stuff
offloaded
transiting the
and put
canal
on
is
there.
water.
So
That's fair too.
Yeah.
Matthew, what do you think about BlackRock buying these two ports? Any thoughts?
I don't think BlackRock should really be involved with anything, being like one of the biggest military industrial contractors in the United States. And I will say that if we're gonna take the Panama Canal back, I don't think owning two ports is really what the idea the Trump administration was putting out. Like, to me, when I think we're owning the Panama Canal, like, we're owning land on both sides of it. We have our military station there like we used to.
make the canal zone great again.
Yeah, like
Not a
that
private
would,
company owning
Yeah.
a portion of it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and again, the quotations are necessary because
Yeah.
really it's just an arm of the U.S. government. So
Yeah, I do want to hop in here real quick to address another comment from the audience, which is that somebody I think poking fun at me saying that BlackRock is just an innocent private company. to use the terminology that I used earlier in the show, I would say that BlackRock is obviously a company that has deeply, deeply defiled itself through intermingling with the state and using it for its own purposes. So I am not going to waste any breath defending what BlackRock is up to.
Yeah.
Not to mention they own all they own through a lot of what's your money. I mean, you buy their iShares, a lot of what's in the retirement portfolios, all of that, ends up sitting in there. I think we've covered the whole how 401ks and the way these things are structured are kind of a scam and a bailout gift to these. Yeah, it's a gift to these companies because you're more or less forced to custody it with these companies, where then they have control of your money. That's an asset under management there. They use it to do whatever they want. BlackRock has seemed to publicly back off the whole DEI CRT push they were doing for a while there. Now I'm sure that's still there in some extent under the surface, but anytime they're saying, oh, well, to access the capital we have, you have to have these policies implemented or this or that, and it's your damn money that they're using to do it with. And then, being that they package it together in into ETFs or whatever other funds they have, and then they own the shares and they sell you shares of their product so that they've maintained voting control over these companies. I mean, that whole system is a government created scam.
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
Yeah, I used to own a lot of BlackRock ETFs, but I sold all those. So now I tried to buy a bunch of ETFs that Vivek's investment company puts out, but now I know a bunch of people will get mad at me about that because now Vivek isn't popular anymore. But
I still like Vivek, but whatever. I forgot to mention from now on, if people start talking too long, or if there's a lot of people talking over each other, I'm going to play some crickets. Get y'all to shut up. No one wants to hear at a certain point. So, and now that
there's got his soundboard ready to go.
Yeah, I do. I've got.
Is it physical or do you just have it up on the screen?
Oh, it's physical. This one's a slap to the face. I wish it would just do it like repeatedly, kind of like a cartoon, but I can't find that one. I got to find more sound effects so I can play louder ones that will make y'all stop talking sometimes. Because there are 6 people on the screen.
This show needs it.
Yeah, we generally don't like to have 6 people on the screen, so we're gonna power through, and I'm going to interrupt y'all if y'all talk over each other. I'm going to tell you to shut up, and I'm going to mute y'all for the time being. So that's what's going to happen.
I'm just going to go make a drink at one point, and so it'll be fine for a while.
The only person I'm not going to mute is our guest. Guest has free reign to say whatever he wants for however long he wants. So there you go. So I picked the BlackRock topic and the next topic because I want them to be slightly shorter. I knew the Technocracy one would go on for a while. So unless anybody has any massive revelations, I think the most interesting thing to do is just keep an eye on what BlackRock, what happens with those two ports and what happens with the Panama Canal in the future. So unless anybody else has some crazy thing to say about this, I think we move on to the next one. Y'all good with that?
Yep.
Sweet. All right, Zach, throw it up. Cloud seeding effort focuses on Front Range, Eastern Colorado rivers. You can go ahead and play the video on this page, Zach, because no, that's not the video.
Toying with Mother Nature isn't as scary as it sounds, according to various meteorologists and experts on cloud seeding. The term refers to a process of weather manipulation in which silver iodide is burned and injected into snow clouds, similar to a propane burner, to stimulate or increase snowfall, according to the St. Vrain and Left Hand Water Conservancy District.
So what we're doing with cloud seeding is we're putting silver iodide in, and silver iodide, depending on the temperature, but around -2, -4 degrees Celsius, has a very similar structure as an ice crystal. So what we're doing is we're putting the silver iodide in, and we are freezing these liquid droplets, and we are generating snow. And then the snow sticks together either with the supercool liquid or with other ice crystals, and it's then heavy enough to fall down. So the idea of cloud seeding is really attacking the specific type of clouds to make it more efficient and produce precipitation or snowfall.
Silver iodide is much different than silver, closer in fact to salt, and is not dangerous to the environment in such small amounts used in cloud seeding, according to studies done by the Colorado Water Conservation Board.
So silver iodide...
all right, you can pause this now, Zach. It's a longer video. I just wanted the first little bit. But what... It's this place called the St. Vrain and Left Hand Water Conservancy District. What the frick is Left Hand Water? What the heck is that?
Well, there's a left-hand brewing company, and I know, like in Colorado, the brewing companies are real big on water purification.
Huh? Why does this thing always?
Oh, that is from Colorado, also.
Yeah, they have a fantastic milk stout.
It's really stupid.
Yeah,
okay.
That's.
First off, the first line of this article pissed me off. Toying with Mother Nature isn't as scary as it sounds.
Yeah.
Like, give me a break, man. Like, that is the stupidest line to lead with.
I love Zane's famous last words. Yeah.
Like, yes, toying with Mother Nature is freaking stupid. And you should take extreme caution in doing so.
There's nothing wrong with steering hurricanes with hard technology. It's fine.
Totally. So Steven was the one who put this in the Discord. Steven, what are your thoughts on what they're doing in Colorado?
Well, so I've mentioned silver iodide before, but I wasn't real sure on it because, like I said, I remember hearing this back in like 7th, 8th grade biology, middle school, because they were talking about they can shoot this stuff like in a missile, basically, into a tornado. You know, like once a funnel cloud has formed, they can shoot this in there and get it to dissipate, or they can steer tornadoes with it. So, you know, that's one of those things where it was cool to have that confirmation that I was remembering that correctly, that they were using silver iodide. I don't know if you'll ever play with that.
I thought they used to use sperm because it's called cloud seeding. That's what I used to think. You spray a bunch of sperm in the air. Like.
So yeah, I mean, silver iodide is the stuff that will stain your hands brown. It's really hard to get off. I don't know if you ever played with it in a chemistry class. But I mean, so first of all, the state of Colorado is apparently a conspiracy theorist because we know cloud seeding is fake and doesn't happen.
And we've been told that many times. I'm pretty sure we've gotten strikes on our videos because we've talked about cloud seeding before.
Right. and then second off, you know, I'm actually curious to see a snow NATO. Because they're shooting this into snow clouds. So I mean, let's see what happens.
Okay, so if you don't take this from a conspiratorial level, okay, if you take it as is, like cloud seeding actually is a good thing and can work. The biggest argument against it from people who actually like cloud seeding is that it doesn't actually affect the places where you cloud seed because the wind.
Yeah, because the air masses are moving. Yeah,
and so. Just that argument alone from the people who are proponents of this should negate the fact, like the idea of cloud seeding in general, until they actually perfect it, which I don't think they should. I think it's an atrocity. I don't think we should be putting things in the clouds that then rain down on people and farmland across the United States.
In general, it's a problem of like the territories and boundaries, and like one area, one city, or one state can decide to do it, and then but it affects the neighboring cities and states a lot. And one is like to the effect that you're trying to gain, it's hard to target a certain area, but also like now you're affecting areas that did not like choose to vote for that or spend the money on that or whatever. And so there's like just when you do things thousands of feet in the air, it's pretty hard to control like where it goes. But
yeah.
So what's the goal of cloud seeding on this? Just more snow? Because on the front range,
yeah,
we're talking the eastern side of the Rockies,
Mhm.
where Mississippi, that drains towards the Mississippi River. So I mean, that's ostensibly more water on that side versus if you were cloud seeding on the western side.
Yeah,
where they seem to be lacking water downriver. So
yeah, I don't know why they're doing it on the eastern side. If the because the western side is what needs it. Like if it were to actually work, I'm going at this not as a conspiracy theorist libertarian. Like if it actually worked, people on the west side of the Rockies would need it. People in Montana would need it. They do this above my mountain all the time in Montana. Like you can see the stuff just come down and just settle in the valleys. Like you can watch it come down, and it's a bunch of heavy metals. It's not just silver iodide. It's a bunch of other things. And you can watch it happen. Like you can watch these planes go over, you can watch this stuff fall down, and you can see it settle. And it's not normal air. Like it settles and it stays there for a very long time, and it's not good for you. And I just don't, I can't believe, I mean, there are some states that are starting to ban it. I think it's 7 states have banned it now.
Really?
No cloud seeding over their states.
They're probably not the drier states that are banning it.
Yeah, no, they're not. It's all southern states.
That
have all the humidity that they could possibly
This
need.
brings up the whole point of like sort of the Hegelian dialectic thing, but instead of security, this is like a needs-based thing where it's like obviously the people that are the quickest to ban it are the ones that don't even feel the need, right. Where it's like it rains 300 inches a day or whatever down here, like, and it's just a point that like when it becomes convenient, you entertain it more readily.
Yeah. All right, Matthew, I want to give you a shot to talk about this before we move on to trivia.
Yeah, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in the movie I Am Legend, doesn't it start out by like they're trying to fix climate change by putting something in the air, and then everybody gets like zombies?
Oh, does it?
And stuff.
Oh,
yeah,
I thought it was like the cancer cure one.
Yeah.
One, but
wait.
No, yeah, it's not I Am Legend.
Both?
It's
The Day After Tomorrow. Is that
No, that's just regular climate change.
That's just no one had any influence on that apparently. That just
yeah, it's not I Am Legend. What was that movie?
World War Z?
No.
Yes, I think it is World War Z.
Really?
Well, no, wait.
No, that was Zombies too.
Okay. You're just making up memories in my mind at this point. It's like, but there is some movie where like that happens, and I can't remember what the movie's called. But you all seem like you had like the connecting dots face, so you all like can at least I think remember what I'm talking about.
I'm trying to place it.
I'm gonna try to find it.
Connecting dots.
Anyway, keep going.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like. I'm very wary about putting chemicals up in the sky, or really in the water or anywhere. So I think this is just a bad thing, and I hope more states ban this. Yeah, like it's not good for our bodies. I think we should leave Mother Nature and be as natural as possible.
Zach might be right.
I think it's a safer assumption.
So real quickly on this, I think that I'm probably a little bit more open to geoengineering than the rest of the panel. And it's because I think that we should not use the standard where we say that just because something doesn't seem natural or just because something is impacting the environment, that automatically makes it bad. Because that's the same line of argument that a lot of the people that are really concerned about global warming use. It's like, oh, we're going to cause the planet to warm up by 0.5 degrees. Really?
He's all right.
I'm just kidding, Zane. I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say,
I wanted to
he's
just
good.
start chanting "Fed," but I didn't do that. So go ahead, keep going.
So
I hear his point.
My point being that, and I don't have any special knowledge about cloud seeding. So if it really is a bunch of heavy metals that are really bad, then obviously we shouldn't do it. But the argument that we shouldn't do it just because it's not natural or that we're impacting the environment, it's like, well, building a hydroelectric dam is impacting the environment. Building irrigation ditches and canals is impacting the environment. So there are lots of ways that we can impact the environment that are actually hugely beneficial to human flourishing. And if it turns out that cloud seeding is one of those things, then I would be in favor of it.
So if it turns out that cloud seeding is one of those things, then I might be in favor of it too.
But can you trust who's implementing it?
I just don't think that it is. It has been proven that heavy metals are in some of these cloud seeding.
Well, yeah, because it's the densest particles, and it will conduct more, and it has the most thermal mass per small particle, so it'll attract water particles.
And you're talking about chemical.
It will harm humans. Anyway, sorry, Nick, keep going.
You're talking about chemicals versus Zane's other points, which you're talking about physical infrastructure, and that's kind of a different story in my mind, where we can start. You have to do your environmental impact studies on what the dam is going to do and what this is going to do, and you're going to know the effects before you do it pretty almost specifically. Now, yes, early dams and messing with salmon runs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That probably was something that I either didn't care or didn't realize, but. Yeah, I think we have a pretty good understanding of what physical infrastructure does versus dumping chemicals into the atmosphere. But I do support geoengineering of Mars wholeheartedly.
So I'm actually not just talking about physical infrastructure, because also, as I said, even if the warmists are right that we are headed towards a massive amount of global warming, it's yet to be proven that would actually have a net negative impact on humanity, especially the more moderate 1.5 C warming. Even if that happens, to prevent it would cause such catastrophic human suffering in terms of the amount of energy that you'd have to stop using in order to prevent that level of warming. That would be better to just let the warming occur and deal with it than try to stop it.
I agree. I'm going on that one.
I'll make a small detail point on this of when you get a government that and a combination with private, but we'll just focus on government, whatever, where it takes it upon itself to act on this, and then it's well, let's ban or incentivize EVs and try to ban gas things and whatever, and then then you start getting to the point where it's oh, but we didn't bolster the grid at all, and it's now the same government is asking people, don't charge your EVs on these times or days or whatever, and it's you just gave a tax credit to these fucking cars, and you're artificially creating a wave of more EVs to come in faster than we can update the grid or whatever, and you're basically now setting people up, if we keep up on this trajectory, to what Zane was saying, you're gonna cause more suffering or cripple function of society and commerce and whatever. Anyway, it's the artificial sort of, instead of just letting things sort of work themselves out, when government starts to take action on things in mass and making large scale decisions for everyone else, it usually causes more problems than good.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
I think I've not seen a lot of really well done things where it's the government's let's introduce this species to eat this other species, and they're oh shit, now they're eating everything, let's introduce another species to eat them, and they're oh fuck, now they're fucking eating all the plants, and let's introduce another goddamn species, and it's it never works. I wish we would just stop doing this, mutating mosquitoes and introducing whatever, and it's now then give it 50 or 100 years, and you know what we should do? We should bring back the fucking wolves that we took out originally, because the ecosystem is really suffering. There's too many deer, and they have black tongue, and they're dying. Whatever. Government sucks. I'm sorry.
I just got back from New Orleans, so we were over there hanging out for Mardi Gras. But we did.
I think you mean Nolans.
Nolans, right? Yeah, but we did a swamp tour one day. We went out on an airboat and went looking at gators, feeding them marshmallows, and
you feed them marshmallows.
Oh yeah, they love marshmallows.
They eat marshmallows, really?
You feed the raccoons marshmallows.
Yeah.
Well, the gators ate like raw chicken or some shit.
But there was some kind of like lily looking, like a moss ivy, floating on top of the water in the swamp. And he was explaining that was not native. That some lady had that in her pond in the early 1900s. It was like early 1920s, and it rained and rained and rained for like weeks and weeks and weeks. And then this thing like flooded the whole town.
Hydrilla? Is it hydrilla? Is that what it is?
I forget exactly what it's called, but it's from Argentina. So she went to some like World Fair in Chicago and brought this stuff back and had it in her pond. Her pond flooded. It got over into the swamp, and now it's just everywhere, all over the swamp, all over Louisiana. So we're just driving through there, and he's pointing things out. He's like, "That's not native. That's not native. That's not native."
Yeah.
And,
the apple snails.
All this stuff came here, in the last 100 years. And I'm like, so you look at stuff like that, and is it necessarily
some of it's
bad?
on accident?
Yeah, I'm running with Zane's idea here. Like, is it necessarily bad? I mean, it's not original, but it balanced out. Nature balanced out. So there are cases where that happens, obviously, because you still have the swamps.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. That's it for that. We're going to play some trivia now. All right. I know Steven's not in here right now. Give me a second, and I will get him in here. Just give me 1 second. I don't have a 6-person trivia layout, so I'm making a new layout.
Is this the first?
This is our first ever 6-person trivia. So congratulations, Matthew. You're on a record-breaking show.
Glad to be here.
Do we have a 6-person audience too?
I think we have a few more people than in the audience. Yeah. Give me 1 second. I will have Steven up here in no time. Let's see, Phil, and save.
When I'm on desktop now, I can hear the music again.
Yeah, you should be.
When I was on mobile, you can't hear the music.
There we go. There's Steven.
Oh, I'm not hearing the music right now.
I'm hearing the music. Matthew, do you hear the music?
Late.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Might need to boost the volume just a little bit on the music.
Hey, the music level is higher than what it normally is, so we're not going to do that.
I can usually hear it just fine. I'm not getting it today.
Oh, well, we'll just call it a glitch and move on.
All right, everyone. Welcome to another week of Libations Trivia. As usual, we've got trivia in 3 rounds. Round 1 is 8 questions, 1 point each. Round 2 is 6 questions, 2 points each. Round 3 is 4 questions, 3 points each. The way that our contestants will answer is by writing their answer down on a piece of paper or a whiteboard and holding it up to the camera.
Or
audience.
Why's it got to be a whiteboard?
All right. I see we've got our chief diversity officer on the show.
How does he still have a job?
Because Doge hasn't visited our set yet.
And audience definitely still be putting in your answers, and if you get it right, then the audience will get the point as well. All right. So for tonight's categories, round 1 we have haikus. Don't worry, it's not a category about haikus. Each question is a haiku.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good. I'm glad we don't have to write haikus.
And then rounds 2 and 3. Rounds 2 and 3 are the 2 topics that we were supposed to cover last week, but then we ran out of time. So round 2 is minerals, and round 3 is about Uber guns.
Yes.
Uber guns?
Last week, we were supposed to talk about a new company that is basically Uber with security guards with guns. And it launched.
You hire a car with an armed.
No, you hire private security from an app on your phone.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So it's nothing to do with cars.
No, it's private security in Escalades.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you can order as many Escalades as you want.
I want 30 Escalades, but 1 security guard.
You're just all towing one.
Yeah, just a line of Escalades.
Yeah. All right,
Or they all have a
Zane,
Tesla
off
patch.
topic. Interrupt us.
Yes, we are.
All right, round 1. Question 1. Japanese leader surrendered in World War II, not prosecuted.
Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1.
All right, Matt, what you got for us?
I don't think I spelled it correctly, but it's Haruhito and Emperor. So Emperor Haruhito.
All right, Jake.
I have Sam Urai.
Nick.
I have Hirohito.
Alden.
Toyota.
Steven.
I said Haruhito.
Audience says Goku and Hirohito.
All right, this would be Emperor Hirohito.
Nice.
You sure it's this way?
One part of World War II I know nothing about is the Japanese side of things.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah, you should look up
'Cause
what
this
they were doing
whole-
in China during that time.
I'll get
yeah.
there, actually.
Nanking.
Hey, Zane, keep going, man.
Question 2. Brit luxury brand. Phantom, Ghost, and Cullinan. Silly ornaments.
What?
Oh, no.
I don't even. I'm too dumb for this, I guess.
Five seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, let's start with Steven this time.
I didn't get it written down, but the Phantom I think alludes to some kind of car company.
Some kind of car company. Okay, Alden.
I at least wrote a car company, but Jaguar. But
Jaguar. Nick.
Rolls Royce.
It's Rolls Royce, and I guess freaking Jaguar.
I couldn't. Yeah.
Matt.
Yeah, I put Rolls Royce, but I spelt it ROLES, and that's not right. So
spelling doesn't count.
Disqualified.
All right, this is in fact Rolls Royce.
God gummit. Freaking doofus.
Question
I couldn't
3.
think of Rolls Royce.
Eagles head ball coach prevented dreaded three-peat with Gatorade bath.
Oh no.
Dang it, I forgot his last name.
I forgot both. I forgot all 3 of his names.
5 seconds, yo. I better get half a point for this. Time's up.
All
You're
right.
trying to
Matt.
guess who it is, Hannah.
I put Obama because I have no idea.
Obama.
That's probably right. Yeah.
Put Nick S.
Nick.
I have Sirianni.
Alden.
You're combining the 2. Yeah. I think his name is Dirty Birdie.
Steven.
That's what I think.
I said Kirby Smart. Let's go Philly Dogs.
Hannah says Sirianni as well. Nick.
All right. So, in
Jake and Nick get a half point.
the rule of every trivia that I've ever played is that you have to have the last name if we're talking about a person. So there's no partial credit for just saying Nick.
I didn't
Or
say
Nick-
just name
or
it.
just say Nick S, because that's not the last name. I
S
needed Nick.
is his
I needed
initial.
Sirianni.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
This
Count
is
it.
BS.
Question 4.
I'm protesting.
Semi-sonic
No, it's
song
NS.
says you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. If I
5,
sang it, maybe
4,
that would
3,
give a hint, but I don't think I will.
1. Hannah wants to know if hers counted. She said Sirianni and then Nick afterwards.
Yep. Audience got that point.
Okay. All right.
All right. Steven.
Life's been good to me so far. Joe Walsh.
Alden.
I wrote closing time because
I did too.
that's what I hear at closing time.
Oh, Semisonic, the actual band. Okay.
Not like that.
Matt.
I didn't write anything down. It slipped my mind, but now that you say it, closing time makes sense.
Yeah.
Santa's trolling you. Ah, yes, the Semisonic song by Joe Walsh.
That's right.
Closing time.
I know.
Well, now that
who
it-
I
yeah.
want to take me home.
You don't have to go home. Okay.
I know we just sing the whole
Question
song.
5. A national park named for formations like this, a Utah must see.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Matt.
I put Utah National Park because I don't know what it is.
Jake.
Arches National Park.
Nick. Alden. Steven.
Arches.
I said Rock Park.
Something. Something my feet don't have.
The audience says Arches and Monument Valley.
And it is Arches National Park.
Yay! I got a point. Not enough celebrating though.
Trojan War post game. Lots of trouble getting home in this Homer tale.
What?
Ten seconds. Trump banned national parks, didn't you hear?
I wish.
No, I personally think if we were to disband the government, the national park should be the very last thing to go.
Communist.
Whatever. I'll
Thomas
take it.
Malthus has entered the chat.
All right, go on.
All right, Steven.
Odyssey.
Alden.
Odyssey.
Nick.
Odyssey.
Jake. Matt.
That's what the Odyssey.
You're the only odd I see.
All right, clean sweep. This is the Odyssey.
Yeah.
It's not as
Honda
much
for the
fun
win.
when everybody gets it.
What was that?
It's not as much fun when everybody gets it.
Well, I try to write them so that not everybody gets it, but then I write too many that nobody gets, and that's even worse.
That's fair. Fair enough.
Element 7. Over 3/4 of air used for Dippin' Dots.
That's the best haiku.
That is great. Yeah.
That's a good one. Hannah clarified it's the Odyssey.
It's actually not. The original name of the epic poem is just Odyssey. All of the adaptations in like movies and TV shows called The Odyssey, but the original is there's no.
Hit him with the cricket.
got pwned, Hannah. All right, 3, 2, 1.
All right, Matt.
I put hydrogen. I don't know what element 7 is.
Jake says nitrogen. Nick.
Oh, so
Alden.
dumb. I said carbon.
Audience.
No, you're carbon.
We would all die if it was CO2. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I knew it wasn't hydrogen because that's element 1.
Fair.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
nitrogen.
Woohoo!
Carbon
I like the
is
Dippin'
number
Dots
6.
blue,
God, I just told my wife tonight we need to start drinking hydrogen water.
Is helium 2?
New Orleans cocktail. Rum, lemon juice, passion fruit. Served in a lamp glass.
Oh gosh. Only Alden's gonna get this one, if anybody.
I don't know this one. In a lamp glass? Is there lamp oil in this? Like,
it's a glass like this.
That's a lamp glass? I thought that was.
Well, I used some poetic license.
Oh, okay.
But it is kind of called that.
All right, show them.
All right, Steven.
Sazerac.
Alden.
Hurricane.
Nick.
Voodoo.
I said hurricane as well.
Matt.
I just put the swamp.
There we go.
It's that invasive swamp cabbage.
Audience unanimously said hurricane.
It's a very New Orleans drink.
It's named after the hurricane lamp. This is a hurricane.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize the connection.
Thanks for clarifying. Otherwise, I would have thought it was named after Hurricane Katrina.
All right, at the end of round 1.
I like that I was like, I don't know it, and then I got it.
I've got Steven was 2, Matt was 3, Jake and Alden was 5, Nick was 6, and the audience perfect was 8.
Dadgum audience.
We're never going to beat the audience.
We beat them last week.
Beat them last week.
I'm never going to beat the audience.
All right, round 2, minerals.
I'm on a hurricane now.
Question 1.
Minerals.
The Mohs scale, introduced by German geologist Friedrich Mohs, measures what specific property of minerals?
Ten seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, Matt.
I put hardness. I have no idea.
Jake.
I put density.
Nick.
You're dense.
Hardness.
Alden.
And I'm hard for being correct.
Even.
Hardness.
Yep, I wrote this question specifically for Alden. This is hardness.
The density doesn't need a scale, Jake. It's easily calculated.
I don't like you right now.
It's 1 to Jake is the density scale.
How do I boot Van? There we go. Next out.
Question 2. What mineral with a Mohs hardness of 10 defines the top of the Mohs scale?
Is it banana?
5, 4, 3,
B-A-N-A-N,
2,
yes.
1.
Steven.
Diamond.
That's what
Alden.
I said. Yeah.
Nick.
Diamond.
Jake says diamond.
Are forever.
I put carbon because I know that's
You know
not
what's
it.
funny?
I put carbon first, and then I
I was thinking.
I was going to say
like,
that Steven's old question was half right here. Yeah. Or we hope. I don't know.
Audience. Diamond.
This is diamond.
Well, you weren't far off.
The way that you said diamond, diamond, it reminded me of the Ferris Bueller's Day Off line where he's like, if you put a lump of coal in his butt and waited 2 weeks, you would have a diamond.
Gosh, that movie's so good.
It is so good.
All right.
Question 3. Vegetable, animal, or mineral is a variation of what parlor game? It has been used as a format for several radio and television shows, and is the basis for the toy shown here, which was one of my favorite toys when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
For our audio audience, the picture of the toy is a blue, kind of spherical plastic toy with a screen that says the word vegetable.
With a question.
But it can also say other words.
All right, time's up.
All right, Matt.
I put kiss, marry, kill. I don't know.
Jake.
Are you gonna?
I put finger toe penis.
Nick.
20 questions.
Alden.
Yeah, that's what I put. I got 20 questions.
Steven.
I like finger toe penis. Though.
21 questions. I apparently grew up with the deluxe edition.
No, it's the dumb edition. You get one more chance.
20 questions. Speak and spell Squid Game.
Oh, speak and spell.
20 questions.
I was
think
going to
speak
write
and spell
FMK, but then I thought I
something else.
actually had a chance of getting it right, so I didn't do that. But
I think I had a speak and spell because I just like lit up an old memory.
I think my game is far better than any of the games.
I'm afraid to play your game. It depends on who's playing, I guess.
Question 4. In what Gilbert and Sullivan opera does the modern Major General claim, I've information vegetable, animal, and mineral?
No, I don't know. What are you even talking about?
You've never heard of the modern Major General song?
I don't even know what you're... I know call the general and save some time.
I am the very model of a modern Major General. I've information, animal, vegetable, and mineral.
I don't know what this is.
I only know it because they spoofed it in a show called Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. 5 seconds. Time's up.
I don't know how to spell this.
Matt.
So I know what you're talking about, but I couldn't remember the name, and I know they say that in Hamilton, so I just put Hamilton.
Jake.
I put Mary Bang Kill on this one.
Bang. Is bang like Jake for fuck or shoot? I don't understand.
You can.
I put Veggie Tales because I apparently don't understand this question.
Okay, so Veggie Tales also had a Silly Songs with Larry where they made a parody of this too.
So am I right or am I close to right? Because I'll be pissed if I'm just close to right.
You named the show where they did a parody of it, but that's still wrong. Steven?
God damn it, Zane.
So I went with 20 questions this time.
Madam Butterfly, Phantom of the Opera, Pirates of Penzance, Springtime for Hitler, and Cats.
That is a varied
Springtime for Hitler's a good
answers
option.
from the audience. Yeah. What is the answer? What?
Nikki got it. It's the Pirates of Penzance.
What the fuck is that? We said I only know the Pirates of the Caribbean. Not even the Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't even know what that is. I don't
And
even
why is the
recognize that.
general singing about pirates? Like,
well, because it's a comic opera. It's supposed to be funny.
But it should be an admiral if you're talking about pirates.
Yeah, exactly. That's my
But
point.
the song is sung on land, not on a boat. The
Well,
pirates
what are
on
pirates
land.
doing on land?
They're getting
This
that
makes no
booty.
sense.
Okay, let's move on because I want to punch that. Thanks.
Question 5. What variety of quartz, which is the birthstone for February, is pictured here?
Oh, dadgummit. It's my birth month and I don't know that.
Wait, you were also born in February? I
Yeah.
wrote this question because I was born in February, so it's the only one that I know.
I don't know how to spell this, but bear with me.
I mean, I have.
This is your birthstone, Jake. I just put that together that you said that. Oh my god. That's too funny.
I don't think I'm remembering this correctly, but I'm going to guess it anyway. All right, time's
It's
up.
grape, Jake. It's grape. The grape
Steven.
rock.
Grape drink.
Amethyst.
Oh,
Grape drink.
Alden.
Amethyst, yeah.
What?
Nick.
Holy shit! Shot in the dark from my answer.
Yes! Jake, you got it! I'm so proud of you. We all got it. Hooray! Yay, communism.
Prince.
Oh,
and
everyone got it.
used to have one on their
Prince!
bedside
Purple
table.
rain rock. Prince got me.
Oh, I just guessed. That's the only one I could think of. I don't think I know a single other birthstone.
Mine's emerald.
Oh, emerald? That's a good one.
Question 6. Spodumene and petalite are important sources of what element, which
You watch
figures
your mouth.
prominently in the proposed U.S.-Ukraine minerals deal and is the subject of various FAA regulations?
What?
Five seconds. I think I actually know this one. Time's up.
Matt.
I put lithium. I have no idea.
Jake.
Lithium.
Nick.
Alden. I put iron because I'm an asshole.
Potassium.
Audience.
Cocaine.
Cocaine.
Lithium,
Yes.
lithium.
This is indeed lithium.
You sure it's not iron?
Yeah, they have all those stupid regulations about lithium batteries.
Well, because lithium will burst into flames if it.
Yeah, as I said, it'll explode.
No, Steven, shush. Stupid regulations about lithium batteries.
But they give us these stupid fucking gas cans that spill gas all over the goddamn place because that's better than before because gas is so dangerous, but whatever.
Did y'all see the story about the woman who died on the plane and they sat her next to an elderly couple?
No, that sounds like something we should have covered.
I heard about this because I was listening to ESPN radio and they talked about this story for like 15 minutes.
On ESPN?
All right, let's move on.
At the end of round 2, I've got Steven with 8, Matt with 9, Jake with 11, Alden with 13, Nick with 16, and the audience is still perfect with 20.
I'm still mad about the VeggieTales thing.
Uber guns.
In a 2016 film, director Orson Krennic oversees the development of what weapon?
Five seconds. Time's up.
Matt?
I put Uber gun because I don't know.
Jake?
I put Moonray.
Nick?
The Death Star.
Alden?
Vagina.
Steven?
So, kind of in line with that. Captain Marvel.
We have the gun, the Needler.
Kind of in line.
OnlyFans.
This is a Star Wars reference.
The 2016 film in question is Rogue One. This is the Death.
Oh, I didn't know the director at all, but
I was
actually the only Star Wars movie that I liked after the original trilogy.
Correct. It's the
I like
only
Solo.
one you're allowed to like.
But when he said director, he doesn't mean like the film
mean of the
director.
movie.
He's
He mean-
talking about
Yeah.
the
Oh,
director
then I
in
don't know
charge.
that either.
In universe, this guy's title is director.
Yeah, that did make it slightly.
Oh, okay. I think that threw me off quite a bit.
Yeah.
I was like, who the fuck is that? I don't know that director.
Question 2.
So who
What
directs
is the
that
most...
movie?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
See, I
What
didn't know
is-
either.
What
Yeah,
is the most common nickname of the 42-centimeter howitzer, officially called the Minenwerfer Gerät? It was produced by Krupp during World War I.
Can you guys hear my squeaking when I write?
No.
No.
Oh, okay, good. Because it's obnoxious even to me here. So it's like every time I like write something in here.
5 seconds. I don't freaking know. All right, time's up.
Steven.
I said, oh, where is it? The sumbitch.
Is this the minigun?
Nick.
Explodey McExplodey face.
There we go.
Jake.
I went with Nick's previous answer, which is FU.
Matt.
I put
Classic.
Gatling gun. I know that's not it, but
Audience.
Audience says Gatling gun, gamma, mortar. Holy shit, that's a big ass gun.
That's probably correct. Yeah.
No, I think this is something that you all know when you see it. This is the Big Bertha.
Yeah, that gun.
No, I don't know that. I have a chicken named Big Bertha, actually.
I have a golf club named Big Bertha.
I have a golf club named Big Bertha too.
Yeah.
I have a dick named Big Bertha.
Oh,
No, you don't.
And a chicken. No, it's just a chicken.
Question 3. Pictured here is a mortar monkey, one of the many towers available in what series of mobile games?
Who plays mobile games?
A ton of people, man. Way too many people.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna name the only mobile game I know.
4, 3.
And it's gonna be wrong.
2, 1.
Matt.
I put Monkey Wars. I don't know.
Is that a name of one? I don't know. I wouldn't know.
No, I don't think so.
Put Farmville.
Nick.
Angry Birds.
That's all I said is Angry Birds because I don't fucking know.
Steven.
Where'd it go? Clash of Clans.
Oh, that's a good guess. We got Pocket Tanks, Bloons Tower Defense, Angry Birds, Farmland, and What Hannah Said.
You're all gonna be so mad. This is Bloons Tower Defense.
No freaking way did you get that right. That is unbelievable.
Wait, did Hannah say it?
Hannah said it. What?
So does some quack get it right by proxy?
It doesn't matter because audience is audience.
So then yes.
I've never even heard of Bloons Tower Defense.
I don't know what that is. No.
I can't believe that's even a freaking game.
No.
That is infuriating. Okay.
Not balloons, just balloons.
Yep. Just balloons. Question 4. Pictured here are several of the 16-inch guns aboard what battleship? The location of Japan's surrender after World War II.
I know where this ship is. I've taken video of it. And I don't remember the dadgum name of it. Time's up.
All right, Steven.
This is wrong because I mean this is a class of destroyer, not the name, but Ohio.
Alden.
How do you have a surrender after a war? You know what I mean? Like that feels like
Alden.
A paradox.
Stop trying to judo my
Okinawa.
question.
I want to say it was the Missouri.
Jake.
USS Treaty Maker.
Yeah.
Yes.
USS Washington. I have no idea.
Maybe it's the balloons, the SS balloons.
We got the Tokyo, the Liberty,
the minnow,
and the Ocean.
Yes.
This
The Ocean,
is the
correct.
Mighty Mo, the USS Missouri.
Oh, okay.
Boo.
All right, so at the end of trivia, we've got Steven with 8, Matt with 9, Jake with 11, Alden with 13, Nick with 22, and the audience with 23.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Now that I see it on a bigger screen, there are some fucked up images in that. Like you can really see it on the desktop. Oh my god. The mutant porcupines, man. That's scary.
Yeah, it's not. That's what AI does for you. And that was like AI when it first came out, is when I started messing with all that.
Oh man.
Well, congratulations to the audience. You won yet again. We're definitely going to have to retool it a little bit because that happens all the time. And it seems like it's going to keep happening. I mean, especially the bigger the audience gets, the harder that's going to be. So,
it's going to be statistically almost impossible if we succeed at all in what we're supposed to be doing here. So,
yeah, that's very true.
You're gonna have to like go off of like what a majority of the audience says, or like multiple of them have
first
to get
audience answer in.
Oh, that would be a funny one. Yeah, first audience answer. Then everybody can blame
Jackie
that
Chan.
audience member. We can
Every
turn the
time.
audience against each other.
Against each other. We are the government now. Yeah.
We should try that.
I like that. Well, thank you, Zane. Appreciate that. All right, we have one more topic because we're at the 2-hour mark right now. We're going to go a little over, probably 15 minutes or so. So buckle up for another 15 minutes. Matthew, if you do have to leave, just let me know. Otherwise,
If you have to pee, you should have brought a bottle with you. You know.
if you have to pee, just go ahead and pee, man.
I'm
right,
good.
right in that chair. We're all good. No one can see it or hear it. So
I've already
Or
done it a
smell
couple
it.
times.
All right. Yeah, I wanted to touch on one more topic. It's not an open forum for topics. Go ahead and pull that up, Zach. XRP alert. Blockchain investigator finds 2.7 billion XRP in dormant wallets linked to Ripple co-founder. Okay, so Trump just signed a ridiculous crypto reserve for the United States, which basically made Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, which is XRP. What else was in there? Solana and Cardano. And a few others, I guess, that are quote unquote valuable as reserve assets in the US Treasury. The stupidest move he could have made, because half of those coins are useless and can be printed at will. And XRP is one of those. XRP is one of the biggest scams that has yet to be fulfilled. And this is one of those things that proves it. It's basically going to be a rug pull once it gets valuable enough. Anybody who founded it or was a stakeholder in it will sell all of their currency for that price, get a ton of money, and the coin will go to zero.
Can you imagine rugging the U.S. government?
I would like to in many ways, but I don't want that to happen to the American people. That would be a horrible thing. And the fact that XRP has been allowed to infiltrate this level of the government is infuriating to me. So this is just to tell you, buy Bitcoin if you're going to buy a crypto. Don't buy anything else, because they're all scams. They're all garbage.
What's been really, really funny is seeing all the people coming out and saying, it doesn't make sense to do anything but Bitcoin. I mean, you had Brian Armstrong, CEO of the biggest shitcoin casino, Coinbase. You had Peter Schiff say that.
Yeah.
Like it's absurd. Like you had some of the biggest names that are usually either, all in on everything, like Coinbase, and let's just throw everything out there and let's see who gets rugged, and we'll just make money off of the rugging.
Yeah.
And then Peter Schiff, who can't get past shiny yellow rock. So,
dude, Peter Schiff, that guy, yeah. I had to unfollow.
I've never heard the sentence before. Make money off of the rugging. I like it.
It's a good one. Matthew, do you have any thoughts on crypto or Bitcoin or anything in that sphere?
I mean, I don't know a whole lot about it, but I don't think we should be making it as a reserve currency or doing anything with our monetary system involved with crypto. You said, Bitcoin. I don't know if that's like, I don't know really anything about how that works. I mean, I know that, it's on the blockchain and you can kind of make it using, like mine it, I guess. But yeah, but I know at least like with the Hawk Tua coin and like we don't need to be putting our monetary supply based off that. Like,
correct.
Those are shit coins. Yeah,
those are what we call shit coins.
Why isn't Trump coin in the reserve?
That's a great
coin.
Yeah, Trump coin. That would be terrible.
I'll tell you what we should do. We should put the results of the Fort Knox audit as an NFT.
So Matthew, we have talked about Bitcoin quite a bit on this show. I did a whole series on it on the Official Libertarian podcast. So if you do want to learn about Bitcoin and why I do believe it should be the reserve asset of the United States government, I do believe everybody should buy into Bitcoin and adopt it as their currency. It's based on very, yeah. Nick's got a great. It's based on very, very, very sound Austrian economic principles, and it's I'm not going to go into it right now because that would take a very long time. But suffice to say that it is foundationally sound, far more so than any other currency that has ever existed.
For those who couldn't read it,
The key point is that when you started to say that, like, you can just make more of it, that's the problem with all these shit coins, is that the owners really can just print up as many of them as they want, which would also, by the way, imply that the United States dollar is also a shit coin, which I think we would all say that it is.
I was being
the difference between all of that and Bitcoin is that actually, no, you can't just decide that you want to make more and then just instantly make more. The only way you can make more is by mining it. And there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. That's it. It's inflation proof.
Yeah. So the meme I put up shows on the one side little genie guy, and he says, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10 to the 22nd. If you guess the number, then you win 3.125 Bitcoin. Then the other is a miner that has all his little computers and says sounds good. So that's kind of the point, that Bitcoin is taking this work, taking this physical energy to convert into money, versus like if you take Hawk2a coin, anytime you start dealing with any of these tokens and meme coins and anything like that on Solana or Ethereum on their chains, whenever they launch it, you get them talking about quote unquote tokenomics, which is like an extremely fiat way of saying this is how we're going to screw you over. So they come up with these grand plans of, so we have all this reserve that we're going to hold for this long, and then we're going to release 20% of it now, and we're going to keep 40% of it for ourselves. And as you guys drive the price up, we're only going to dump a little bit on you as that price goes up. And like everything in that is just made to scam. That's the number one utility of Ethereum and Solana is scams. That's the only thing that it's actually useful for, is scamming people.
I'm gonna stop you with Ethereum though, because look, the ERC20 tokens, the smart contracts, are gangster.
So that is the one good thing that Ethereum can do is smart contracts. So like the token itself, I wouldn't invest a single.
It's not money. It's there purely to power the network. Bitcoin is the only one out of all of those that's actually built to be a freaking currency. It's actually meant to be used as money for person to person monetary transfer.
Uninflatable currency.
That's solely what it's for. All the others have some kind of gimmick behind them of
consider them stocks. That's basically what I consider them. It's like if you want to invest in crypto outside of Bitcoin, you're basically just playing the stock market. You're just investing.
Well, it's even worse than the stock market, because at least with stocks, there's an actual company that most of the time is producing valuable goods and services.
So a lot of the crypto is so like exactly what Steven said. Ethereum, the blockchain of Ethereum hosts smart contracts, and it actually is a useful tool. Not all of them are like that. The Hawk2a coin was utterly useless and was just printed into oblivion, and she made a ton of money along with her co-conspirators, and now she's on the run or whatever she's doing. I don't know what's going on there, but man,
I think she started a podcast or something.
She what?
I think she started a podcast.
Well, she did before the rug pull. Before she
popped back up for an episode since then, but she lost everything she had basically. Yeah, like she had this like minor internet celebrity from that video, and then she turned it into something, and she went meme coin and just destroyed that whole reputation.
Maybe someone should start a website that could be a Bitcoin marketplace to buy and sell whatever you want anonymously. What could go wrong?
I know a guy. He just got out of prison.
I feel like
yeah.
A guy named Ross Ulbricht did that, Matthew. Like I don't know, 15 years ago or so.
2012, 2013, 2014-ish. Yeah.
Is there a problem with only having like 21 million coins, like for Bitcoin? Like, does that like you're basically using a like a percentage of a coin? So is there?
So the smaller denomination. So think of a Satoshi as like $1, and a Bitcoin as, we'll just say, like $1 billion,
like $1 trillion or something,
like $1 billion or $1 trillion. So like the one mistake that I think whoever invented it made was calling the unit of measure a Bitcoin when it should be a Satoshi, because that's the smallest denominator. So it's like us calling a dollar, and like $100,000 and $1 million. It should be called a Satoshi. So a
Think of
Satoshi
it just more as a set amount, and it's just like, yeah, as if you're using you're using decimals instead of dollars. Like, yeah, but
yeah. And like I said, like Zane's economic wizard, Nick's an economic wizard. I freaking am obsessed with Bitcoin. Steven and Alden have their good sides too. We could go on about this for a very long time.
I can't name any right now, but they have some good sides.
But yeah, like I offer free Bitcoin advice for anybody who wants it.
And
But you have to play finger, penis, toe to get the information. So
Buy and hold.
Buy and hold. So there we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go hang out with my good side. Matthew, it's good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
See you guys. All right.
Later,
All right. Let me see if I can get us back on our background so it doesn't look weird to me.
I wish it were more common that people didn't conflate just Bitcoin with all the other cryptocurrency options out there, because they really aren't the same. And even with a little bit that I know about it, like it's a pretty important distinction, and conflating the two are what I think gives Bitcoin a bad name. But
yeah,
well, that's what the shitcoiners want, is they want you to be conflated with everything. That way they can go, well, it's like Bitcoin, but it has these extra features. You can do smart contracts on it. And it's, to me, I haven't caught really a great use case for smart contracts yet, but you know, Jake and Steve say that there could be.
There's some.
So,
I don't consider it a reason to buy a bunch of Ethereum. Like that's my thing. Like I don't think you need to invest tens of thousands of dollars in order to use their smart contract on their network. I just don't think that's
Bitcoin is like Popeye's chicken, and everything else is like KFC chicken.
Dude, it's so funny you said that. We're gonna get to the funnies here in a minute, and there's literally a Popeye sketch in there.
but the whole thing with oh, did I post that? Yeah, never mind. But yeah, XRP has spent so much money lobbying to be included in this, because
tens
XRP,
of millions of dollars. Yep.
Yeah, so the whole point of XRP is they came on the scene with the intent of basically trying to be like the CBDC coming from a private sector rather than being invented by the Fed. It's Fed coin.
Yeah,
that's what it was created to be, and that's what they intended to do.
Next screen.
And so now they spent all this money.
All right, y'all. Yeah, before we get to the last topic of the evening, head on over to peacefulseed.network. Check out our website. We've got a whole bunch of shows over there that you can watch, including Philosophical Fall Guy, which comes out next week, March 12th, Wednesday. And it's about the stunt industry in the film world. And it's a high-profile stunt guy who interviews other stunt folks within the industry. It's the first episode is a phenomenal conversation between a
Jackie Chan.
Basically, I mean, 65-year-old stuntman who's been in the business since he was 6 years old. So he's got some skills and he's got some stories. So highly recommend you go check that out.
If anyone has stories, I feel like stuntmen probably have stories.
Yeah. Also, just so y'all know, we just recently put this on the website, but our 3 favorite platforms for y'all to follow us on are Rumble, Spotify, and X. So if you have those 3, go follow us on those. It's only a matter of time before we say something stupid on here and YouTube, pulls us.
I'm surprised we're still here.
Dude, it's shocking to me. We haven't gotten a strike in like 4 months. It's bizarre.
I think they just don't care about us. It's really because we've said all kinds of crazy shit.
We need to be more controversial.
I don't think that's the lesson to take from this.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
Ask and you shall receive.
And this is just the section of the show where we end on some funny notes, and then we end the show. So enjoy these funny videos that people have submitted and that I have also found throughout the week. Let's see. Let me get this up there. There we go. So this is Doug Ford on the news.
Brother of Rob Ford.
Brother of Rob Ford.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you are ready, sir, to go to war, to go to a trade war with the United States with the Trump administration.
Listen, buddy, I wake up every day. I go down to my local Tim Hortons. By the way, we're gonna be shutting down all the Timmys across the border there. So sorry if you're in Michigan there and you like getting your bacon egger or your double. I had a bacon egger today. And for Christ's sake, I thought, fucking Americans, they don't know what they're doing. But buddy, listen to me. My brother, he used to be the mayor of Toronto before the Chinese woman there took over. And I mean, he was smoking crack every day, and I almost want to ask Donald Trump, "Are you fucking smoking crack, buddy?" Because you're raising the tariffs on the Lay's chips there, bud. So we're gonna fucking do an retaliation. We're gonna turn off all the electricity there for all the Americans, just like the Palestinians there, the Jews did for there in the Gaza. So we're gonna be doing that to Michigan, New York, and Minnesota, so they're not even going to be getting any power. And yeah, buddy, we're just going to be hacking darts up here and having a couple beers, and y'all can go fuck yourself.
I love that it's such a bad Bubbles impression from Trailer Park Boys.
Matthew, what were you about to say?
Oh no, I was just laughing.
Yeah,
I was laughing at Zane more than I was laughing at this. Zane was having a good time with that.
He got tickled that one. This next one's just yeah, I think he did. This next one's just a tweet. As a German, I just want to get this straight. The entire Western world wants us to build up a huge army, march through Poland, and fight the Russians if necessary. Just writing it down so there are no misunderstandings.
That's good.
I thought that was pretty great. This next one's one that I found. Acrobat creates stunning visual art through movement and precision. Oh yeah, he has more. I forgot there's more than that. First one was the main one.
What happened there?
He caught him on a knife in his pants. He caught it.
Oh, it's on the shoe.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ah! Gosh, that's bold.
I would not do that with Crocs. What?
That's so weird. I didn't watch the rest of this video.
This is very weird.
What? Holy crap.
That was very weird. All of that was very weird.
Yeah, I'd only watched.
It's like if you crossed Dude Perfect with weird performance art.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, that's so good. All right. This is a sketch, everybody. This is not real.
In the wake of the new administration's policy changes, diversity hiring practices are being halted and reversed, leaving some employees out of work and confused.
I love working here. I don't know why I got fired. I was always the first one in, last one out. I always help my coworkers out, whether it be on the line or to pass a drug test. I've one employee of the last 14 months I've been here, consecutively.
They fired the white guy. He's the only worker here that hasn't tried to fight me yet.
They fired Jacob? Damn. He was my favorite. I'm not scared of black people. One time I came and ordered at the drive-thru and started stuttering. The black lady asked me if I was retarded.
I've been working here for 4 years. My coworkers are like family to me.
Who Jacob? You talking about the white dude? Look like ugly Jesus? I thought he was undercover boss.
Coworkers would tell me that I'm too polite, but I didn't think that was a fireable offense. One time I did give a woman extra sauce, and when my manager saw that, after he got off FaceTime with his cousin, he yelled at me for a while.
Jacob is gone?
I never realized until today that I was a DEI hire, and it doesn't feel great.
While some see these policy changes as a step forward, others, like Jacob, are just hoping to land on their feet again.
I work here now. Chick-fil-A reached out to me almost immediately after the story broke. They said they have no problem that I'm white. They actually told me that it would be a problem if I wasn't. I don't think they were joking.
I think I posted that one too. It was good.
If anybody has ever played Settlers of Catan, this next one's for you. Bro denies my pick.
I don't have the cards right now. We're not having cards. Right now, you don't have the cards. You're playing cards. Not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't have your playing cards.
Dude, that's one of my favorite ones of all time.
My breakthrough sheet.
That one's so stinking good.
I want it known that it took a while, but I beat Jake at Settlers of Catan.
Yeah, because I was asleep by the time the game ended. Lord have mercy. You and Haley.
Part of my strategy.
Every move so carefully and takes so long that you put the enemy to sleep. That's basically how strategy works.
That's a strategy.
Yeah.
It's a strategy. All right.
I crossed with Delaware on Christmas.
We've shown Jimmy Carr a few times. This is one of his live stand-up routines. So here you go.
Your dad died a year ago.
Watching one of your Netflix specials.
He died watching one of my Netflix specials. What? Whoa! Let's find out what happened. So your dad died a year ago, watching one of my Netflix specials.
As a family, we thought that wasn't a bad way to go.
Is this genuinely true?
Laughing at one of your programs.
He was laughing at one of my programs and he died. It's a fucking pro. I'm sorry for your trouble, but that is generational talent right there. Am I funny? I fucking killed a man. I can't trust myself. What? Was he ill? What? Sorry.
Then we got the autopsy report.
This is going somewhere. Here we go.
I found out he died from boredom.
That's pretty funny. Glad he's dead though.
Oh, that dude's so funny. If you haven't watched any of his specials,
Yeah.
I highly recommend. That guy's great, Jimmy Carr. Well, Matthew, appreciate you coming on the show tonight, man. This has been a blast.
It was nice to see all y'all.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's fun, man.
Yeah. What do you got going on? Do you have anything that people should check out? People should follow, or is for fun for you?
I mean, it's kind of for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you can look me up as Pan Zeitgeist on basically on 3 platforms. So on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. That's all I'm on right now. Nice. I don't have a lot posted, but there will be more.
Heck yeah. Well, man, I really enjoyed you coming on. I like it when it's not always the case, but I like it when the guest just wants to rumble and do what we want to do and like get our,
Yeah, I don't mind.
Attack our topics, which is it's fun. Like I do like getting to, there are some guests who have their own shows to promote and stuff like that, and that's great too, and have their own things they want to talk about, and that's great. But it was fun chatting about all this with you. Thought you had some good thoughts.
Yeah, it was nice talking to all y'all.
Heck yeah. We'll stick around after the credits and we'll chat for a minute after that. But everybody out there, tune in next week for more Liberty Libations. Go check out Peaceful Sea Network and I think we have 9 shows that come on the network now, along with a few documentaries and short film and some more stuff coming down the pike. So go check that out. Alden, Nick, Zane, any last words before we get out?
No.
Drink more beer.
Drink more beer.
I'm kind of speechless right now.
All right, there we go. All right, y'all. Drink and be free. Peace.
Ignite the fight. That's the echo.
crew and let's us